Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at the conversions between fractions, decimals, and percents. Okay, so to convert a fraction to a decimal, you divide the numerator by the denominator, or you can rewrite the fraction as an equivalent fraction with a power of 10 as the denominator. To convert a fraction to a percent, you can use equivalent fractions with 100 as the denominator, or convert the fraction to a decimal by dividing the numerator by the denominator and then multiply that decimal by 100. To convert a decimal to a fraction, rewrite the number as a fraction using place value and then simplify. So all these relationships can be summarized by this little graphic. Okay, and you should be familiar with a lot of these already. So if we're going from a fraction to a decimal, you divide the numerator by the denominator. If you're going from the decimal to a fraction, you use place value in the decimal digits. To go from a decimal to a percent, you multiply the decimal by 100. To go from a percent to a decimal, you divide the percent by 100. To go from a fraction to a percent, use equivalent fractions to change the denominator to 100 and read off the numerator. Or what I do is I change the fraction to a decimal and then the decimal to the percent. To go from a percent to a fraction, you write the percent as a number with a denominator of 100 and then simplify. So here are some examples. Complete the following table to find the equivalent form of each number. 4 nines. So I'm using my calculator, and on my calculator, remember that fraction line means division. So I'm dividing 4 by 9. I get a repeating decimal, so I get my answer, 4 tenths repeating. Now that I have that decimal, I can move my decimal point 2 places to the right to get my percent. So if I write it out a little, I'm moving my decimal 2 to the right, so I get 44 and 4 tenths repeating percent. Okay, looking at our next example, now they give us the decimal, negative 76 thousandths. First, as a fraction, I would write it as, and I'll show my work below, it's negative 76 over 1,000. And now I'm going to use my fraction key on my calculator to help me reduce that. That simplifies to negative 19 2/50ths. So negative 19 2/50ths. Changing that decimal now to its percent, I'm moving my decimal, so negative 76 thousandths. I'm going to move my decimal 2 to the right, so it becomes negative 7 6/10%. Okay, now they give me the percent, 9 1/10%, and I'm converting it first to a decimal. So I'm going to now move my decimal 2 spots towards the left and put in my 0. So I get 91 thousandths. And now converting that to its fraction using place value, it's 91 over 1,000. And that does not simplify, so that is my answer, 91 over 1,000. 7 38/45ths. Changing it first to a decimal. 7 38/45ths. I'm going to use my calculator to divide 38 by 45. So I get 7 84/100ths with the 4 repeating. So 7 84/100ths with the 4 repeating. And now converting that decimal to a percent, I'm going to move my decimal 2 spots to the right and then put in my zeros. So I get 784 and 4 tenths repeating percent. Okay, my last example, 6 2/3%. Well, I would first convert it to a decimal. So 6 2/3%. Well, on my calculator, I'm going to divide 2 by 3. So it's 6 6/10 repeating percent. Now I'm going to move my decimal 2 spots to the left and put in my 0. So I get 0.06 repeating. So 6/100 with the 6 repeating. Now to change this one to a fraction, it's a little bit trickier. So I'm going to look at the percent. I have 6 2/3%, which would be 6 2/3 over 100. Now I'm going to use my fraction key, 6 2/3 divided by 100. And on my calculator, I get my reduced fraction, 1/15. I hope this video helps. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.